So welcome back to the podcast. Today's episode is something that I was stood on stage at Clinic Growth Live, and we were going through some questions that would reveal the biggest constraint in everybody's business who were in the room at the time. And in my head, I thought that the biggest constraint would be not this one. Okay. So there was 4 different ones. It was about knowing your numbers and being clear about the key numbers that you need to know in your business. I mean, there's different levels as your business grows, okay? But there's some key numbers that you absolutely need to know. And I thought most people bury their head in the sand. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that stood up in the room for that being the one that scored the highest. And then we looked at leads and inquiries and new patients and so marketing. And I thought this is going to be a popular one. Like, a lot of people aren't doing marketing. They are burying their head in the sand. They're posting randomly on social media. And I thought we're going to get loads of people stood up in the room for that. And then the third one was the bottleneck around like team and capacity, structure and that sort of thing. And we got lots of people signed for that one. I thought, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I'd got this in my head where I was going to direct the conversation. And then the final one was about you being the bottleneck in the business, being the one that all the decisions come through, that you are absolutely at capacity. And it was about that you have no time to be the owner, the CEO. You are just in it and busy all the time. And literally everybody in the room stood up. I was like internally thinking, shit, I need to think about what I'm going to talk about now, because this was not what I was planning. And it was not a real shock, but it was a real moment of, wow, okay, actually, yes, we have all these other problems in our business that we're trying to solve all the time, about trying to get clearer on our numbers, trying to be better at marketing, do more marketing, be more consistent with our marketing. And we're trying to recruit, we're trying to hire, we're trying to get the right people in the right seats. But actually, the person sat in the chair that is running and owning this business, is the biggest barrier to your success. And it's costing you more than you think. So whilst Emma today might feel a little bit uncomfortable and really completely unplanned for me, because it was something that I heard and I saw at Clinic Growth Live, and I thought I need to talk about this. And actually I need to go one step further, and I need to help people around this more. And I'm going to give you an invitation at the end of this episode. I've had to face this multiple points in both of my businesses, and you have to acknowledge that you might be the reason. No, you might not be. You are the reason that your business is performing as it is right now. So if it isn't growing, or if it's growing slowly, or it's growing messily, I'm sure that's the word, but it's growing with kind of no clear structure, it feels very heavy. We've not got the cash reserves. We haven't got the cash flow coming in. We might not have the numbers, the inquiries, the leads. It's because of you. Now, before you switch this off and think, oh, it's not me, it's all these other factors, it's not about blame. This is just about awareness. And because when you see it, you can actually do something about it. Because if we don't acknowledge this, then you have a job and you don't have a business. You must create freedom in your business for you to really live the lives that you want to live. So without further ado, let's dive in to this spicy episode about you being the biggest bottleneck in your business.
Welcome to the Treat Your Business podcast, the show for clinic owners who want real, honest advice and tried and tested ways of doing things. I'm Katie Bell, and this is the new era of bigger insights and bolder conversations to help you grow a clinic and a life you love. Let's dive in.
Okay, so most clinic owners think that our biggest challenge often is that I need more patients, I need better staff, I need staff to fucking do what I'm asking them to do, and convert and retain and treat people like I would treat them and have good conversations. And I just need more time, Katie. And when I've got more time, I'll be able to do this. And I just need to go on these extra CPD courses, and therefore I'll be able to make more money. But in reality, the biggest bottleneck in business is often the owner. And I don't say it lightly, because it's a story that I have lived time and time again. And I remember being in a position, quite recently within Thrive, and quite a long time ago within my clinic, where like everything runs through you. Like I had to make all the decisions, from how much I spent on toilet roll, to which bed fixer people would come out and sort the electrical plinths, to how many hours the cleaners did, or if it was me doing the cleaning, to who I was hiring, who I was firing, what memberships I was putting into the clinic, the pricing changes, how I was communicating that to staff, the decision of the colour on the walls, like everything had to come through me. And I was also way too clinical as well. So I was seeing 60, 70 patients a week. I was doing 6 days of clinical, and I was still holding on to all of those decisions. And I had some people working for me in the early days, and I thought I was being really helpful because I was trying to was the owner, like I had to own these decisions, and I couldn't pass things on. And I was actually just being a complete control freak. And I said I wanted team because I recognised that we couldn't grow any quicker without team, but I actually didn't let them do anything or really take ownership of anything. I quickly realised in the clinic that I was the bottleneck, particularly, first of all, from a capacity point of view. Every time I was in the treatment room, the business was stagnating. I was earning cash, I was making the business money, but I wasn't able to work on the business. So we grew, like we did grow, but it was mainly because I was working about 25 and a half hours a day. I was absolutely exhausted, and I was completely on this adrenaline of just keeping going from one week to the next. There was not much fun going on at the time. And then more recently in Thrive, as I was preparing for my maternity leave, I recognised I was the bottleneck in some seats within the business because a lot of the responsibility was on my shoulders. And for me to go away and have a baby and have some protected time meant that I had to relinquish quite a lot of control over pretty much every single task in the entire company, including all of my clinical work as well had to go, my teaching of classes had to go, like it all had to go. So I've lived it, I've breathed this, and I know how hard it can be. And when you don't have something on the horizon, like maybe a change to your family unit, or that you're moving abroad, or something that's going to force you into making some big decisions, you just drip on and go on, and you don't really do anything about it. And in fact, actually, tomorrow night we have a fabulous couple that have just joined our foundations program. They are podiatrists, husband and wife, and in fact, no, they haven't joined foundations, they've joined Elevate and our Elevate program. So they are quite a significant size business, but they are, her in particular, he is the manager of the business, so he runs it, but she is working 1 billion hours a week. And they are going to have to make some big decisions quite quickly for health reasons, because they are very overwhelmed, they're very stressed, they're very exhausted. And I'm actually doing an SOS call with them tomorrow night at 6:30. And we don't, this is not normally what we do when people join the program, but I felt so strongly that I need to have a big word with them in my way, of course, which will be very kind, but very bold at the same time, because the lady in particular is unable to make quite a lot of sessions because she's going on these CPD courses. This lady's been qualified for 20, 30 years. She doesn't need to go on more CPD courses. She can send her team, and she can get team in place to be running some of these services. But the decisions that they are making right now is keeping them in this cycle, which is very heavy. It's very exhausting. And actually, it's quite critical. And I said to Hannah, I want to do an SOS call with them because they have got to decide to spend their time differently. So this might feel familiar for a lot of you listening to this, but being the bottleneck often shows up in you're the one that everybody comes to for the decisions. So are you the one that is still really having to sign off all and still some of the decisions in your clinic? Do you feel like things don't run properly unless you are there, like, what is the saying, grinding the gears, like making it happen? Are you still heavily clinical? So if you weren't there, the revenue in the business would drop significantly. You just quickly fix things instead of training properly. Are you this person? I used to be this person. I used to be the, if you want something doing, just ask a busy person. In fact, I'm massively still that person. And I also am that person of, I can just do it faster myself. But that is a very short-sighted attitude, and it's the martyr in you that comes out that's just like, nobody can do this. But actually, when we don't spend the time to empower our team or put structures and processes in place, we are just a problem solver. We're like taking the monkeys back off everybody, trying to fix shit, and we don't pass the monkeys back and say, this is not my monkey, this is not my circus, I need you to solve this. What would you do if I wasn't here? And do you struggle to switch off even on days off? You're constantly checking your phone. The first thing you do in the morning, you look at your phone, you're looking at emails. It is Monday morning. It is 9:54 when I'm recording this, 2 days ahead of it being released on Wednesday. A little bit late to the party. But hey, here we are. We move. And I am yet to, in fact, I actually don't even know where my work phone is. I feel like it's in the house on charge somewhere. I'm yet to even open my emails. That won't be the first thing that I do on a morning because I go down a rabbit hole, and I got very clearly in my diary what my routine was this morning. And Alfie is in his pram outside of the windows, right here. Show you. There he is. Look at that. Asleep outside the doors. It's a beautiful day. Don't worry. I'm not leaving him in freezing cold weather, but even if I was, it's really good for them. In Sweden, unlike Norway, they bunk him outside all the time. Anyway, I digress. He's outside sleeping. I have literally 35 minutes to record this episode, which is late because it's going out on Wednesday, and I've given my team no time to edit. But here we are. We move. This is my life, apparently. I am no longer somebody that is that organised anymore. But if you struggle to switch off, even on days off, you're checking your emails, you're just on all the time. And also you feel like you need to be needed, but you're also exhausted by it. So it's like a part of you actually struggles with relinquishing control, because then who are you? And what if the business does really well and you're not there? Then what role are you going to play? And for many of you, because you've never sat in the CEO seat, you don't really know what you need to do when you sit in the CEO seat. You're like, well, what am I going to fill my time with? How am I going to feel fulfilled? What am I going to be doing all day long? Oh, believe me, there was a lot of shit to be done. But it feels uncomfortable because it's a role that you have not played, and not played like 100% of the time. So this doesn't happen because it's not because you're doing something wrong. It happens because you really care. You have high standards. You built this baby from scratch. You want things done properly. And for a long time, that's what's got you where you are today. These traits are exactly what's got you here. But at some point, these are the exact things that then hold you back in taking that next level. I used to, I guess I'm sometimes conflicted around this because I very much was a perfectionist. It had to be absolutely like everything needed to be perfect. And in a lot of ways, a lot of what we do still has to be exceptional. We have exceptional as a value in my clinic, and we have be the 5% as a value in Thrive. So I'm not here for mediocre shit. I'm not here for average work. I'm not here for average team. I'm not here for average standards. But what I had to realize was that my 7 out of 10 was most people's like 11 out of 10. As a perfectionist, as somebody who has really, really high standards, I was slowing things down. I was getting in the way. I was stepping in too much. I was not delegating. I was redoing work. I was looking at it going, I could have done that better, and then doing it better. And also I thought it was quicker to do it myself. And actually, you have to demand the standards that you want your team to then deliver on. And you have to be like a dog with a bone. And you don't need to accept anything less than the standard that you deserve and desire. But you also have to recognize when sometimes your 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 is actually slowing momentum and slowing progress down. And you need to just let that shit go. And somebody's going to get from A to B in a different way than you're going to get from A to B. As long as they've got to be, and I've not had to drive that bus, then I'm happy, then I'm good. Now, they might get from A to B, and we reflect and we observe and we go, I think there's probably this way that you could have got there, and I think that would have helped you, and da-da-da-da-da. But you can't just keep stepping in and solving all the problems. So there is a moment here where absolutely demand the standards that you want. you deserve, that you desire, that you've worked really hard for. Put processes and systems in place to ensure that happens. But then get out of the way and let them do it. Put systems in place that they have to report back in, or you do random checks, or whatever it is that you want to do, but allow them to learn, allow them to make a few mistakes and fix them. And this is where most clinic owners get stuck, because what has got you to where you are today, whatever level you are at listening to this podcast, is not what is going to get you to the next level. If you are running a business that is £5,000 a month revenue, £15,000 a month revenue, 25,000, 50,000, 75,000, 100,000, you're not going to create the next step by doing what you're doing today and behaving in the way that you are behaving right now. So the real cost of being the bottleneck, and this is not what we see straight away. If everything runs through you, your business can't grow past your capacity, right? Your business simply cannot grow past your capacity. You only have 24 hours in a day. Most of you have to sleep for some of that time. Most of you have to eat, get kids, drop them off, do shit. So your business can't grow past the capacities that you have. And if you're stuck in the treatment room, it ain't going to grow very quickly. Your income then plateaus if everything runs through you. Your team never really fully step up, and you feel like you're always on. So even when you're away, it's, like you're waiting for the message of somebody being off sick because you're going to have to step in and solve it. And for most people in this zone, we call it the danger zone at Clinic Growth Live, and it is the danger zone. It's like where you're still being pulled back into the business to deliver, because we haven't got the infrastructure yet in place that's going to free you of that load. And I remember this in my clinic, like there was a point in time when it was still me that would have to go in and cover the classes when people were off sick, or it was still me that was like, going to have to go and cover the patients if a member of staff was off sick. And there became a point in the business that I said to my practice manager at the time, I said, this is the end. Like, I am no longer going to be able to cover. Like, it stops now. We have to find a different solution, because the longer that I just keep being brought back in, the slower growth and the ability this business has to move to the next level. So your business can only grow to the level you're willing to let go of. If you don't want to be the person covering sick all the time, let go of it. Make a decision. Put that infrastructure in place. Cancel classes. There were times when I said to my business manager, there is nobody else, so we're going to have to cancel the class, because my time is actually that important. And this is where it gets a bit uncomfortable, because sometimes being needed feels really good. It gives you control, it gives you certainty, makes you feel important, but it also keeps you stuck. I used to think the business would fall apart without me. And then I decided to take a mini retirement. I feel like the business was like 3 years old at this point, and I decided to book 4 weeks out the company and go across the world so I could literally like not fix shit. And I was like, just you wait. It's all going to go to rat shit. Nobody's going to be able to cope. We're not going to make any money. And we made more profit that month than any other month in the whole of the year. So it turns out it just couldn't grow with me in the way. I allowed my team to step up. So what actually needs to change? Not everything. It's just how you see your role. Because the shift is from doing to deciding, from fixing to building, from being needed to creating that independence. And this is where you start stepping into this CEO thinking. It's not perfect, but it's intentional. So I really want you to just do something super simple this week for me. Whatever level that you're at, I want you to notice every time you step in to fix something. And I want you to pause and ask, is this something that only I can do? Or is this something I haven't trained properly yet? And this one question alone will help you start to change how you operate. So every time you step in to fix something, is this something that only I can do? Or something that I actually haven't trained somebody properly on yet? I haven't got a system in place. There is basically nothing in your business that you couldn't train somebody else to do. Like there are great people out there that can do your role. There are elements when you sit in your zone of genius and it becomes harder to find that person. But you are replaceable. So when you realize you're the bottleneck, Most clinic owners then don't suddenly go, oh, okay, now I get it. But you, like, nothing really changes. You still feel stuck. So what do you actually fix first? Do you fix your marketing? Do you fix teams? Do you fix systems? Do you fix pricing? Do you fix capacity? And what happens then is that you just try and fix everything and nothing really changes. So what I've decided to do, I'm very excited about this because I've not done this for probably 2 years now. I'm relaunching masterclasses. We are back, baby. And I'm going to be running a masterclass at the end of this month, the end of April. Because what I see over and again is that it's not that you aren't working hard, it's that you're working on the wrong things. So inside this masterclass, I'm going to, whatever level you're at, I'm going to help you identify where your biggest bottleneck is right now, what fixing it would do for your time and your income, and then give you this really clear focus of what you need to do in the next 30 days. Okay, so instead of spinning your wheels like all over the shop, you can actually just move forwards. It's completely free, no charge to you, no obligation. I just want as many people who are feeling like they are the biggest barrier to this business moving forwards in whatever capacity to be at this masterclass. It's going to be great. It's for 90 minutes. I can't even remember the date, but there's a link below that you can click on the link and it's going to take you to a very simple sign up page. So you'll get the Zoom link and that's all you need to do. Super, super simple. Do you need to prepare anything? No, just turn up. You're busy enough. Okay. We will figure it out on the day. If you'd love to be at the masterclass, head to the link below. I want to see you there live. If you are like, oh, it's fallen on a day where I've got clients, cancel them. I dare you. This is the biggest move you need to make, is to get yourself out of all of these seats that you are sitting in. So if this episode has hit a nerve, good. I'm happy about that because awareness is the first step. And I want you to just sit with this question. Where am I the bottleneck in my business right now? Don't judge yourself, but you need to know this to be able to start leading differently. And I'm going to see you in the next episode and at the masterclass at the end of the month.
Thanks for listening to the Treat Your Business podcast. Hit subscribe now and keep joining me for bigger insights, bolder conversations to help you build a clinic and a life you love.